Hello and welcome back to the Dream Girls Locker Room podcast, hosted by me, Sydney Cassidy. Guys, it's season finale time. Didn't know we were doing one, but here we are. First of all, how are you? I hope you're okay. First episode we're doing where I'm here by myself, which feels weird. I'm kind of nervous, I'm not going to lie. This will be our 16th episode. You know, we never do things as you typically would and end off on a round number, but it just felt like the right time. It's been going really well, but I feel like I kind of wanted to do an episode where it kind of felt like a bit more of just me chatting to you. I know so many of you guys listen literally when you're just out on a dog walk or at the gym. And so think of this like an extended voice note. So hopefully I can give you some company wherever you are, whatever you're doing. So yeah, we have finished all of the episodes for now. I think the reason why I said like I was just going to continue going on and on and on. But I kind of made the decision recently to kind of go for this format where we do have seasons, because specifically the podcast, I want this to be something where it's offering so much good, so much education and value for our community and for women that want to get into gym or are into health and fitness and their own well-being. And I think it's going to be a format that would work for us. Our set is in Manchester and it's kind of hard, I'm not going to lie. Behind the scenes, I don't really tell you guys what really goes on behind the scenes, but a lot goes on behind the scenes and it's tough work. I don't have like a huge team or like a management label or whatever. Like it takes a lot to do a podcast, a lot which I did not even realize. So I think I'm on like a pursuit to always deliver and sort of be able to offer the best content I can. And I feel like the way we need to do that is to do seasons. So perhaps the way I see it going is that like we'll be able to get some really sick guests. We'll also be doing some like online ones, some virtual ones, which I was so worried about, and that's why I haven't done it in this, you know, season, if we want to call it that, because I was like, oh God, you know, people will really see the difference. But the funniest part is that like literally most of you guys listen on Spotify. So in my mind, I'm kind of thinking it won't actually matter. Yay, Goose is here. I feel less alone now. So yeah, for however much like hard work it's been doing this podcast, it's also been such a joy. And, you know, even with the guests we've had so far, I've learned so much personally. Like I've literally, if no other sort of value was provided, it's helped me out a lot to be able to speak to such a broad range of guests. And that's something I hope we can continue with going into like a second season. Like my vision for the podcast is for us to be able to have conversations with not only personalities and like athletes, but people that are really like inspiring and making a difference in the world, and you know, neuroscientists and educators and people that can really make a difference with their words. I don't know, just like providing a space to have these conversations that like perhaps aren't always given the space to do so. So yeah, I feel like so far it's been a real success. Should we spend a moment to reflect? I think that might be nice, because I don't know, I feel like I've been reflecting. The girls are like, talk about what's going on with you, give everyone an update, which I can do. But I think I've definitely been in like a little reflective season of my life. And I think it's really good to do that, just to kind of assess where you're at with things and what's going on. So yeah, let's cast our minds back. Obviously started the season with Ellis, and I would love for Ellis to be in more going forward. Ellis is my sister. If you haven't listened to any of them, hello. This probably won't make any sense to you, so do go back and listen to the previous episodes. But yeah, we started off with Ellis, and she's my sister, and we get on so well. She also works for Dream Girls Locker Room. And so we kind of started out by doing very focused episodes on different topics, which was cool. And I enjoyed, and I definitely learned a lot myself. And then we kind of moved into guests, which was really, really exciting for me. I will say that's where probably a lot of the stress comes from. You just couldn't even imagine how many sort of moving pieces there are to get someone in person here, but it was so worth it. Like, I can't even tell you how much like joy it brings to my day to see you guys reposting on stories and engaging with posts and giving us feedback. I feel like it was interesting for me because speaking with these different people brings out a different side to me, or allows me to engage in conversation that like maybe I wouldn't think to. And yeah, I just think that was really fantastic. And then as we kind of finished with the season, we started dipping our toes into like a girls chat episode or episodes, which we've done a couple of times now. And that's with my friends that I've made like up in Manchester, who are all really they're all on the fitness scene in different sort of respects. But what's really nice is that I feel like we have a bit of a kind of 360 approach because they do different things to me. And so that's fun. So I feel like we really covered good ground in that first season. If I was going to say like some highlights of mine, I feel like really the Lucy episode, which I know a lot of you guys loved as well, but I really feel like I gained a lot in that conversation personally. And I feel like Lucy and I have a good chemistry. So it was really lovely to chat and just explore the topics that we did. So I really enjoyed that. I also love the episodes with my sister. And I definitely will make an effort to bring her back. And I know people have messaged saying that they love that too. So I'll definitely do that. The episodes with the girls are so fun. I think the range is really nice. And I remember quite early on, we had the boys, James Beardwell and McKenna. And I remember someone saying, oh, why have you had boys on the Gym Girls Locker Room podcast? And I kind of half expected that. And it's funny because like that was always the vision. The vision was always to have like men on. You know, this isn't what Gym Girls Locker Room is not like anti-men. It's just like pro-women. And I feel like there's definitely room as we move forward to have some really constructive conversations with men about being a male, being female in the fitness space. And yeah, I don't know, like even having Ben from Runner on, that was really interesting when he was talking about like women and their cycles and how that affects them and that sort of thing. So it's been really fantastic. And I'm really excited. I feel like it's worth all the time. And I'm excited to see the direction it goes in. I want to be able to have conversations that we don't necessarily have or that we'd like more of. I'd like to be able to offer a sort of a safe space and a place where like many different people could come together and have these really powerful conversations. I feel like we have achieved that. And I don't know, that's very cool. On the topic of reflections, so I was just like reflecting on like a lot of just like how I've been feeling and like where I'm at with things and what I've got going on and am I feeling happy and satisfied with like the life I'm living and how I'm going about my daily tasks and that sort of thing. And I feel like, you know, without going into too much detail, it's taken a lot of like courage from me and a lot of energy mentally, but I do feel a lot better for it. And you know, it's so funny because I feel like when you allow yourself to kind of clear some things, whether it's physically or mentally or emotionally, you kind of create all this space to let new things in. And I would say that's certainly the case for me. Like I've had some like, you know, some challenges to like face, and I feel like in doing so and in tackling those things, I've really been able to like make some energetic space and had some really exciting things come through. And I feel like I've got like a spring in my step back after honestly quite a while, feeling just like something was maybe missing or pushing myself into the ground. I will definitely say like where I'm at, you know, as I reflect from maybe the place I was in when we started this podcast, is like I'm so much better with rest now, and like with like putting in boundaries in place, like personally and professionally. I think I understand that like there's a lot more to life than just working yourself into the ground. And yeah, I don't know. I guess I'm just in a season of change. I'm house hunting. I feel like I've mentioned this a couple of times. I'm house hunting right now. And I feel like I'm doing big girl adult stuff. And it feels cool. I think part of the reason why I was feeling like, oh gosh, so overwhelmed and burnt out, and what we were discussing before, is that we've got a lot of stuff coming for Gym Girls Locker Room, and I have found it intense and overwhelming, and all will become clear in this break as we launch something, a new endeavour that has honestly been a year in the making. I think you guys will know what it is if you've seen, because I have been teasing it a bit, but that's due to launch as we have this break, so it works out beautifully. And we actually have something in talks. I don't know if I'm going to do it, and I wish I could say, but I don't want to say it in case it doesn't happen or it's not like the right situation for us. But I feel like the universe always has a funny way of showing you, you know, what's meant for you or what's right for you. With the podcast, I was like, oh, you know, I'm going to wrap for the season and I don't know where I stand with the second and all this sort of thing, because it is scary and it is a lot of like work. And I've definitely found it interesting because I find it a very different platform to all the other social media that I'm used to. But we decided that we were going to take a break for the podcast. We'd made that decision internally, and then we get this email that, honestly guys, if it actually comes to fruition, is utterly bonkers, and it's in like regards to the podcast, and it just was so funny because I was just thinking like, you just don't know what is around the corner. I do like to say this to people, like, don't give up on that thing. Like maybe I'm also telling myself this, because like, just don't give up on that thing. Like, keep going and keep pushing through. Like those silly little videos you're posting, or that silly little like thing you're working on, that project that it feels like you're really having to put the work in. It feels like you're really having to like work hard at it, and you're not sure if it's paying off, and you're kind of doubting yourself. You just don't know what's in the pipeline. You don't know who's watching. You don't know what's being like said about you. And this was very much like the case for us with this thing. So sorry, I hate to be one of those people, but like this thing that we got messaged about for the podcast, that if it will happen, will be in August. So, you know, it could be a very good kickoff to season 2, or it will be an interesting story for episode 1, and I'll tell you what it was meant to be. But regardless, I think it's just a testament to the fact that, like, you know, the things are working themselves out. Things are in the pipeline. Things are meant to be and will arrive when they need to. And in fact, the other day, here's another thing. I mean, okay, I'm going a bit rogue with it, but the other day I was like having a little bit of a, just a little stress cry. I was having a little stress cry in my flat, and I was just like getting a bit worked up. And then I just went for a bike ride, and I just saw a freaking, I think I was getting flustered about rushing and like feeling rushed and feeling like stressed about being late and like everything to do with timing, which is quite a big source of my anxiety and stress in life, and like feeling guilt about it. And I'm literally cycling. I cycle out of my flat. The cars in front of me stop, and I stop, and I just slow down, and I just wait as this mummy duck, and like, honestly, I kid you not, like 9 or so ducklings tiny ducklings were just crossing the road, just like waddling along. And I just thought, I feel like that's just the sign I needed to just slow the F down and like stop worrying, you know? So anyway, we did actually ask you guys if you had any questions for me. I thought it'd be a nice little one to put on the end. I'm going to answer some of your questions. And then I also just wanted to put on the end of the episode a little roundup of some of our best bits from the first season. Just, you know, I love a bit of nostalgia. I love a little bit of a roundup. And in the spirit of reflections, I think that would be a lovely thing to do. So the first question is, do you plan on coming to Oz to do a tour? I wish. I always see you guys comment and say like, oh, please let the GGLR like events come over to here, there, bloody everywhere. I would love, and if there was a way I could get it to work, yes. So guys, if you think of a way I can get that to happen, then yes, I would absolutely love to. But no, there is not one plan for now. How do you manage your PCOS? I find it hard eating right and going to the gym and just living. So for anyone that doesn't know, and I feel like, did I mention it? Oh, I don't know. Maybe you guys remember better than I did. PCOS. So honestly, the thing that worked for me, and you know, I feel like you have to understand with polycystic ovarian syndrome, it's never going to be a cure. There isn't one. It's like a chronic kind of condition that you can just like do things to minimize the symptoms or to like deal with the symptoms of PCOS. But you're never going to be able to like quote unquote cure it. So for me, I really saw a difference when I used spironolactone, which is a androgen blocker, I believe, or a testosterone blocker. Either way, yeah, I think it's testosterone blocker. Either way, it basically eliminates that from happening in your body, because with spots and acne, which is what I suffered with, you can basically get it through diet, excess like sebum or like dirt or that sort of thing. But you can also get it through like cortisol and the like male hormones. And so when that was like eliminated for me, that actually stopped my acne, because that's clearly the thing that was causing it for me. They weren't certain of that. My dermatologist wasn't certain of that before I went on it, and she said like there could be a chance it doesn't work, but luckily for me it did. I really would encourage you with your skin to just be like, to go to the dermatologist if you can afford to. It is quite a few hundred. It's, for me, it hasn't been in the thousands, but it's been a fair few £100s. But I will just say like the difference I've seen in my confidence is like pretty staggering. And people say to me like, oh, you know, you're glowing and you've got your spark back and like whatever. And I do feel like I've done a lot of work on myself, and I do feel like I've really you know, worked on things from within, and I am really happy. But I will say that like a huge part of it does come from having clearer skin, like, and it's something that I didn't even realize how much it was kind of beating me down. So I would definitely say like, whatever your symptoms are, if you do feel like you're struggling, like, do get help with it. Did you imagine your life would be where it is now, both personally and professionally? I don't know, honestly, because I'd be lying if I said like I didn't see this life for myself, like, but then at the same time, I can't believe I'm here. I don't know how to answer this, honestly. Like, okay, so let me try and explain. I always thought I could do well being like well known. Like, I don't know, from when I was a girl, like I always used to record YouTube videos. I always used to like want to perform or be like a presenter or a host or like I think I've told this story before, but like when I was in year 6, like in primary school, I was like the presenter for like the talent show, and I always thought I'd be good at that. And I always had quite a strong vision. I know I've spoken about visualization, but I always found that maybe escapism, or maybe I actually believed it, I don't know, but I did see that for myself. I don't know, I always saw myself, like, even personally, like being someone that like had friends and had like a partner and like just like had a really great life. And then I think actually receiving that is probably where I'm like, oh no, I didn't expect that. Like, and especially, you know, given the fact that I kind of got that so quickly after like leaving university and that sort of thing. So it's almost hard for me to accept that like I have this life and like I have a dog and a flat and I live in the city and I've got a boyfriend and like I've got a dream career and I've got so many friends. And I think the disbelief I feel is like makes it hard for me to receive it and accept it. But I've come a really long way and I am really grateful. And I have to just remind myself, like, you know, you're grateful, you express gratitude, like, you know, I do feel like this was kind of like meant for me. I feel so fulfilled in what I do, and I feel like I facilitate and allow a lot of like good to come from, you know, what I try to do. So I don't know, I think it's like a personal thing that everyone will go through, you know, like feeling guilt or feeling like imposter syndrome or not good enough, whatever. And it's something that we can just work through. So yeah, I hope that answers that question. But yeah, do keep in touch with us whilst we're gone. Know that we're coming back with something even better. Better guests, better conversations, better topics. And maybe we'll even have a rebrand. Maybe we will. I don't know. I've been kind of looking at the cover thinking, I don't know, I could do a little better, I think. So if you're an artist, if you're an illustrator, if you have any opinions, DM us, let us know at Gym Girls Locker Room. If you do want to stay tuned and you want to be up to date with all of our launches, our events, then do make sure to either follow us on Gym Girls Locker Room on Instagram, or you can actually fill in your email on www.gymgirlslockerroom.com. And you'll be the first to know whenever anything happens, and you will not miss out, because we wouldn't want that. But yeah, I just wanted to just say thank you so much for tuning in. This has brought so much joy to me, and I really like hope that you gained as much from it as like I did. And I'm really excited for the future of the podcast. I would love to hear your feedback, so please feel free to send it over. And we'll also, if you are listening on Spotify, have a drop down box where you can give any sort of feedback or comments that you have. Likewise on YouTube, then you are welcome to do the same. But yeah, I thought it'd be a really lovely touch to cast our mind backs, love a bit of nostalgia, and just do a recap of the season and all of the best bits. So enjoy this and don't miss us too much. We will miss you, but we will be back sooner than I was going to say sooner than something, but I don't even know what. But we will be back soon. So we will see you in the next few months, and take care of yourself, train hard, and I'm trying to think of a final note. I've got nothing. But yeah, lots of love and enjoy. Bye-bye. Hello and welcome to the first ever episode of Gym Girls Locker Room podcast. We are sat in the most badass set.
We got some lockers behind us.
We're in a real life locker room. This has been a really, really long time coming.
I just cannot believe like we're actually here right now.
Anna Archer.
Hello.
She's here.
Thought I'd be more loved if I was smaller. That was it.
Right?
I literally thought I'd be more loved. One of the things that my therapist really taught me was when you're down, you're in an unregulated space. She made me physically write out a list of things that made me feel good. And to get into that space is where you're in more touch with yourself. you can understand what's going on, you can look at things better.
I feel like growing up, I didn't have many like role models by way of like being strong, lifting. So I can't even imagine what it was like. I mean, did you have any?
No,
No,
not really. I had to kind of become the woman that I wish was there when I was younger. Do you know what I mean?
Oh, I love that.
There was so many times that I was the only one there, and sometimes I still am. Flipping my mindset to thinking that to be a limiting factor and something that would make me feel insecure and like I stick out like a sore thumb, to something that's empowering and like a statement to say that I'm a Muslim woman, I do wear the hijab and I'm in the gym, because obviously the fitness industry is so much about results. And then to not do any of that and like not show your skin in a place where majority of people show their skin, it's quite daunting.
I was about to say happy to be in the gym girls' locker room, but I can't say that. Oh no. 5 seconds in.
And we're already cancelled. Yeah. I have to talk about the bromance.
Oh. I don't even like the gym anymore, right?
Okay, wait. What's going on there? Okay. You're going to have to break that down.
Oh my God. How long have we got?
Well, it's a podcast, so quite a while.
For me, like my kind of goal ever since leaving university was kind of get into fitness, initially personal trainer, qualified as a running coach, Ironman coach, and gradually like spun more and more towards the running side of things. And the thing that for me excites me was always running in the park with someone week in, week out and seeing them get fitter, get healthier, get happier. And then we went on to launch this business, which meant we could do that for many, many more people. But it also then like very much changed my relationship with seeing that progress.
I used to really struggle with anxiety, as in crippling. Last year, the start of the year, not getting out of bed, just really horrendous. And I look at myself now, I'm thinking I'm probably not burning out as much because there's no pressure on me. Like, I'm just happy. I could maybe do more and hustle that, that real intense hustle culture, like wake up at 5, go to bed at 10. I don't do that. And maybe it would push me one step further where I need to be. But what's the rush? I do a lot, but I'm at a stage where I'm not pushing it to physical burnout.
Yeah.
With social media, what people need to remember, you go through different stages of personal growth and you change and you evolve all the time. You might have followed people a year ago whose content you can't absorb anymore, which is so fine. You can literally just unfollow people. And I say to everyone, I'm like, if you can't absorb my content right now, please unfollow me or mute me, or maybe don't block me. Like, I really had to do something rude to be blocked. But Instagram are clever where you can just mute people's accounts, and it means their stories don't pop up or their feed posts don't pop up, and you're not doing anything bad by that. You're just putting yourself first on social media, because it's a very wild and savage place sometimes.
And I've always been on the thicker side, It got to a point where I was like only wearing like dark colours, because I was like, dark colours make you look like slimmer. I wasn't really confident. And I said to myself, you know what? Okay, now we need to make a change, because obviously you don't want to be that girl that's just doesn't want to do anything because she feels like insecure about her body. So I used to go on YouTube, type in like 15-minute ab workouts, because I didn't know what I was doing. And then, it just kind of got from there, because I was really at the place where I was like, bro, I feel really insecure, and I'm actually a confident person. And for me to feel like insecure, I was just like, this is like, you look good, you feel good. That's like how I was imagining it. And then, just literally started doing that, getting into the gym.
I know you've like opened up recently about your eating disorder. Would you say that was a direct consequence of kind of growing up in that dance world?
Yeah. Obviously, when you're little and you look around and you're kind of maybe a bit bigger than the other girls, you start to think, I'm not winning. Maybe it's because of that. So I think even from a young age, I had these thoughts in my head.
Am I the only big titty committee in the room?
No.
I'd say I'm
Sits
mid.
there.
I could go either way.
Boys
Just
on
about-
TikTok that need a sports bra more than me, honestly.
Like, right, so we really can't trust anything then.
Well, if you try hard enough, pretty much any study or whatever you do, you can spin to make the fact that you're trying to get across, to make it supported.
Yeah.
Everyone believes what you say on TikTok.
Yeah.
I used to be like, okay, but I don't look like that gym girl all the time. I'm like, well, because she doesn't look like that either. And that's not being like nasty to ourselves or nasty to other people, but like in a picture, you look way different to like when you're moving around the gym. Like,
if I said to you like toxic body positivity, what would your sort of thoughts and response be to that?
people doing it because it's popular, that I struggle with. people doing it because they've seen a video do well online. They then recreate it, not from a place of passion or of caring, but because they want views. That can upset me sometimes.
I feel like we need to go straight in with this burnout situation.
Yeah, okay, fine. Guys, I'm burnt out.
Let's address the elephant in the room.
It won't actually matter. Goose, come round here. Come on. Yay, Goose is here. I feel less alone now. I think, yeah. Do I have anything more I want to say about that? Like a lot of... I don't even know what I'm talking about. So I was just like, I feel like I've just been rambling. Honestly, I don't even know. I kind of didn't even know where I was going with this episode, but I just thought, let me just chat with the girls. Oh, this is really tough. I don't know what I'm talking about. So my phone's died. My phone's freaking died. Okay, I'm scratching the Q&A. Good.